is a problem. It's a really big problem. Education is not qualification. Emeritus, son, professor, general overseer, activist. I don't know all the name I need to call this man. Sound, and not just sound, he has always been there educating our minds. No need to just talk much, no need to stress you. Watch this video. Watch this video. This man come out before election, try to rescue us, so we not follow him. I just hope say this time now we are ready to follow this rescue. Watch this video. Please like, comment and share. Watch this video. Update your mind. Let me follow now. Mama, you be.
Is a respected constitutional lawyer, human rights activist, and senior advocate of Nigeria. What a pleasure and an honor to have you here, as always.
Thank you very much, Chad. I thought I was listening to a pastor.
You mean when we're talking about lamentation?
Yeah.
Well, it's only as it relates to the canon.
Old Testament.
Yeah. But Nigeria's big elections, the official results obviously came in some time ago in favor of Bola Tinubu and the APC, but now it's mired in legal challenges and lamentations of almost biblical proportions, yet the inauguration is going ahead because that's the law. But is it a moral, ethically sound law? Is it a fair rule?
Charles, I think it's too late in the day to cry or bemoan our fate. Since 2010, we have engaged in a consistent campaign for far-reaching electoral reforms along the lines suggested, the recommendations of the Uwais panel, which I said on this forum. Those recommendations were adopted by the panel set up by President Jonathan following the crisis that attended the 2011 presidential election.
Yar'Adua.
Yeah, no, it was Uwais panel was set up by President Yar'Adua.
Right.
President Jonathan set up the Ahmed Lemu panel,
right,
which adopted the recommendations of
okay, yes, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Uwais wholesale. Again, President Buhari set up the Ken Namani panel, which also adopted the basic recommendations of the Uwais panel.
Yeah.
But to master the political will, to implement these recommendations have always been a problem. Because the people in power want to take advantage of the loopholes in the law, including those who are complaining now. And if you look at the dramatis personae, which of them has not enjoyed what we are criticizing now? Governor Bola Tinubu, Vice President Atiku, Peter Obi, in fact more than anybody, had their elections challenged. And when those elections were challenged, they were in power. President Obasanjo and Vice President Atiku in 2003 and 2007, when they were challenged by candidate General Muhammadu Buhari, they were in power. In fact, in 2003, the election petition did not end until 2005. Now, the case of Peter Obi is more interesting. Here was a guy who was kept out of power for 3 years. He won election in 2003. But INEC declared that Dr. Chrising was the winner of the election. So, the petition was contested for 35 months, almost 3 years. And in fairness to Governor Obi, after the verdict of the Court of Appeal, so what? I better go to the office to complete, spend whatever is left of the term. And I said, no. I roar like a lion in Lagos. No. Your opponent had no term of office because his election had been annulled. So you can't complete his term of office. So you are going to start your own 4-year tenure the moment you take your oath of office. Every lawyer said I was talking bunkum. But later, he took advantage of my position and fought the matter from the High Court to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court made a point that your 4-year tenure commences the day you are sworn in. So I think I was, I was discussing, I think sometime last year, I asked Governor Obi, you took advantage of my advice. You haven't paid me, and you don't pay me.
I like that.
It was a public duty.
He didn't buy you a bottle of champagne? I'm disappointed.
No, you just said no. You were rendering a public service.
Yeah, of course.
But after that, in 2007, in 2009, Obi won the election. Andy Uba went to court to say, whereas in 2007, INEC had conducted an election, which was illegal anyway, and he said he had won. Therefore, my term of office, was kept in the cooler. What are you talking about? Again, the party went up to the Supreme Court. Governor Obi was in office. At the end of the day, the Supreme Court upheld, and decided that the election the gentleman was talking about was illegally conducted. Dr. Dachi Ahmed won election to the Senate in 2011, I think under the platform of CPC. His opponent, former Governor McAfee, went to court and was in court for almost a year. Eventually won, and Dr. Dachi Ahmed, who had been in the parliament, was then asked to vacate because it was proved that he didn't win the election. But he had spent about a year in the parliament. So this is the position. What the respected Cardinal Onayeka is talking about is what in law would call de lege ferenda as opposed to de lege. What the law is as opposed to what the law should be. For me, I've always believed that all election petitions should be concluded before the inauguration of an incoming government. But again, this time it's not limited to the president-elect. All the governors who have been elected, including the LP Labour Party governorship candidate and governor-elect
in Abia State.
In Abia State, will be sworn in. All the legislators who have been declared winners of the election on the platform of PC, APC, PDP, Labour Party, and all of them will also be inaugurated on the 29th
right. But for the benefit of our audience who may not know these things, what is the law as it stands today with regard, for example, to the presidential
now,
tribunal? I mean, there are different time frames for each level, aren't there?
By virtue of Section 285 of the Constitution, election petitions shall be heard by our courts and determined within a period of 180 days. That's 6 months.
That is on the tribunal level.
Yes.
Yeah, the presidential.
Also, at the Court of Appeal level.
Right. So that's another 6 months.
No. For the presidential election,
right,
it starts at the Court of Appeal, and then you have an option to go to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
So if you have 180 days in the Court of Appeal, you have additional 2 months, 60 days in the Supreme Court.
Right.
In the case of governorship, which is the only one that allows for 3 stages.
Yeah.
You go to the election petition tribunal for 180 days, Court of Appeal for 60 days, Supreme Court for 60 days. That's keeping the governor in office for 10 months.
Yeah.
While his opponent or his opponents are fighting the legitimacy of his election. So this is the position. In fact, there's a provision of the Electoral Act, I think Section 120, which provides that even within the tribunal or the Court of Appeal this time around, says the man who has been declared the winner of the election has not been properly elected. He has 21 days to appeal. Again,
And he still remains in office, right?
Once the appeal is filed within 21 days.
Right.
So that is the law now. But what do now? But for me, these provisions were made when nobody thought we were going to have electronic voting, likely.
Right.
In other African countries, and this is very sad for us, in 2017, the Supreme Court of Kenya decided the election petition, presidential election petition, within 14 days. And I drew the attention of Nigeria to that development. I wrote a piece which was widely circulated in the media entitled Electoral Justice in Kenya and Nigeria. And I drew the attention of my colleagues particularly to the need for us to ask for an amendment of the Constitution. Because in other African countries, even Ghana here, the challenge of the presidential election is only taken at the Supreme Court. In Kenya, it's the same thing. You don't begin at the Court of Appeal. Two.
Yeah, so it goes straight to the Supreme Court. Yeah.
In most other African countries, you have constitutional courts. These petitions go to the constitutional court, which these courts have 14 days to conclude the election petitions.